How's it going, everybody? This is Mike Norris with Youtech. Today I've got with me Heidi Brelsford, who is on the board of MedGroup, and her function is marketing and sales over there. How's it going, Heidi?
Pretty good. Hi, Michael. Hi, everybody.
I'm very excited that you could be joining us today because you and your company, you both serve such an important, vital function in what's going on in the world today with coronavirus, quarantine, and everything like that. And honestly, it's I don't think people realize the impact of what it is that you're doing and how helpful that is just to the world at large today. So would you be able to just tell us a little bit about you and your background and everything that you're doing?
I really appreciate that, and I'd be happy to. First of all, thanks for having me on today. So,
Yeah, of course.
I was a midlife career changer. In the first half of my career, I was a professor in communication studies where I did teach marketing and everything surrounding all of that. And the second half of my career has been marketing and sales and has been in healthcare. Recently, I took a board position with MedGroup, and MedGroup offers a variety of solutions in healthcare, and one of them is procurement, and that is for MedFind. And before COVID-19, medical procurement on the global scale, we only work on the global scale, actually. We procure supplies and equipment for our clients from all over the world. So we have lots and lots of choices. It allows our clients to be able to choose from a variety of options, pricing and delivery. And those things were very important before COVID. Now, what we're really addressing is the issue of shortages. And these shortages are, of course, causing chaos and actually tragedy. So everyone in medical supplies and procurement right now is we're working our fingers to the bone to try and get those supplies, moved, the PPE moved from manufacturers in areas that are not experiencing shortages to areas that are. And so that's what we've been completely focused on since probably for the last 6 weeks.
Yeah, well, I would imagine there was a lot of supply chain disruption just to start. I mean, I don't know. I would imagine a large portion of this is produced in countries like China and out east like that. And then was that a little bit difficult to navigate as things first started coming to light with all this?
So difficult because I have to say, I'm not a logistics expert. My area of expertise is not in supply chain, but I feel like I'm getting like an honorary PhD right now in supply chain logistics.
Sure, yeah.
What I can say is I have a whole new appreciation for
Sure.
supply chain logistics people that are working in this. Wow, so many details to manage. We're seeing the issues we're seeing are that a lot of ports have been closed. There's only a small number of ports that are open right now for departure out of China, and that's the whole country. And yesterday there were 5 open. I don't know how many are open today, but that's very small. And then there are a lot of countries that also have restricted flight crews from certain countries from landing in their country. So even though you can get a cargo flight out of, let's say, China or a different country, depending on where it's going, you may have to have a different crew flying that flight.
Yeah.
So there's just so many things to consider. It's kind of mind-boggling. We don't do the logistics ourselves, but we do coordinate with our clients and we try to support them and assist them in any way possible. In the past, assistance has been, we have done the coordinating and we've made the phone calls, we've
Sure.
made everything changes hands very seamlessly. But now, of course, we're getting much more involved in logistics, and those kinds of things are holding up a little bit of the movement of the PPE.
Yeah, I would imagine. I mean, like you said about getting a doctorate in it, I would imagine this is like the biggest stage of all time. I mean, I don't think it really gets any more important or difficult than this? I mean, this is like the World Series of PPE procurement, right?
You know, everybody gets that too. Everybody understands how high the stakes are. And there are literally no bad guys in this. Everyone in the entire, everyone that I've worked with and interfaced with has, they've been working so hard. Their hearts are in the right place. The people who are running these countries, their hearts are in the right place.
Yeah.
You know, the goal is to open the ports. The goal is to make the, you know, safely. The goal is to make laws and think ahead, and everyone really is on the same team to get the PPE moving, you know. But manufacturers they're absolutely at capacity. So marketing, the way that I've marketed in the past, completely out the window
Oh yeah.
for
I would
for
imagine that would just be tone deaf, you know, if you were sticking to more traditional methods. I mean, I don't know what you were doing, so I don't want to assume, but
Yeah, absolutely. I would agree with that 100%. And because the demand is so high, you know, all of a sudden, you know, we have to think about things like we're not marketing to create demand. We're not marketing to create um, to get new clients or anything like that. So marketing takes on, you know, a whole new focus for content. The focus, you know, becomes things like information about
mhm.
what's actually happening, um, and um, passing on knowledge that we're getting from our manufacturers and our suppliers. It's becoming much more of a communication role than
Mhm.
I would than I've had in many, many years, what I'm doing right now.
Do you find that there's misinformation out there about what it is you're doing or about PPE equipment being sent from one place to another, or is it just a lack of information in general to the general public?
You know, let's talk about that in 6 months. I
Okay, fair
think
enough.
I think we'll be able to answer those questions, and I think we're gonna, as marketers, not just in medical equipment and supplies, but all of us, I think the lessons that we learn answering those questions are going to be really vital for anticipating crisis um, in the future and being able to respond to it marketing wise, because in our generations, we've never seen a crisis like this before. So right
Right.
now we're all learning. But I think an exhaustive debrief of what happened with marketing during this crisis is going to be extraordinarily valuable. So
Mhm.
let's talk about that when we can, and hopefully the analysis will be super enlightening. My guess that it is that it will be.
Yeah, I would assume so as well. So obviously your role has changed dramatically with COVID-19. Would you have, looking back now with everything that you know and that you've experienced, would you have any advice for yourself prior to this starting that would be helpful for you to tell yourself, you know, a few months back?
You know, I think, like all people all over the world who are sheltering in place and are social distancing, I don't think I wish I had anticipated the level of sadness that I was going to feel, that was like constantly in the background of everything that I'm doing. Sadness for the people who are sick, for the people who are dying of COVID-19. Sadness for just a feeling of helplessness, sheltering in place, being separated from my family. I think staying focused on work has been, you know, it's been difficult because of that. You know,
Mhm.
usually I'm like go go go, and I feel very happy and satisfied with my life and with my work. But I think I definitely came into this not realizing all of the implications of actually living through a pandemic and working
Sure.
during a pandemic. So my advice would be to get enough sleep, stop and sleep. My advice would be to use the phone for actual verbal conversations, not just texting, call my
Yeah,
every day. And we're doing that now, calling each other every day.
great.
Use technology to have hangouts with my friends and to talk with my kids. I kind of learned that along the way. I would have probably done better initially had I known all that.
Sure. Well, I think that's excellent advice for anyone who's in this situation. I think, and I would imagine that you being a global operation, you've probably been on the front lines a little bit more than many of us here, and seeing how this has affected other nations as well, where maybe they don't have the type of resources or homes or jobs even that we have in the United States, where we can, we have the pleasure of doing a video conversation like this right now. Like myself, I'm a marketer. This affects me to an extent, but I'm not high risk. I'm at home, I'm on quarantine, and I'm still able to work, luckily, and I'm able to do everything that I can. But there's so many people out there who aren't, or who don't have the luxuries that I have. And I guess I just want to know if you have any more insight on that.
I think I think you nailed it from a human, perspective, that COVID-19 has definitely increased all of our awareness of empathy for each other and awareness of what's going on around us and in the world significantly.
Mhm.
From a supply chain issue, I think COVID-19 has really opened up it's allowed us to see how fragile the supply chain actually is in medical
Mhm.
equipment and supply procurement, and what it takes to interrupt it at different levels. There are some under-resourced nations in the African continent, in South America, and in other areas where they don't have a single ventilator in their country, not one ventilator.
Wow.
So we're starting to look at as a whole on the big scale. We're starting to look at what we really need to do going forward, because these kind of inequities, of course, should not exist, period.
Sure.
And and part of that is going to be revolutionizing the supply chain and looking at where the supply is going, where are they being sourced, where are the manufacturers, and maybe the decisions even will be we need more manufacturers spread out more evenly all over the place. We need to expand our supply chain to include global networks, and we need to really take a hard look at how the medical supplies and equipment are being dispersed. Before this, it was none of this was obvious or apparent before this. So
Yeah.
we have a lot of work to do.
Well, it's great that there are people like you out there who are doing this, because I think it's sort of an unknown battle. And my hope is that, we can raise as much awareness for this as possible, because, everyone talks about healthcare workers, and rightfully so. They're on the front lines, they're in the hospitals, they're doing, I don't want to take anything away from them at all. Even truck drivers who need to keep the grocery store stocked, and grocery store workers and everything like that. But there is so much that organizations like yours can do going forward, like MedGroup can do, to make sure in the future that, we're more well prepared for this worldwide. And that's just an extraordinary mission. And I'm so thrilled, honestly, to be able to have you on today to talk about this, because, this is a little bit different than my normal conversations, I'll be honest. And it's phenomenal. So thank you so much.
I'm really excited for this opportunity. And, coming into the interview, I was hoping that I would be able to find things of value to say. And I hope I've been able to do that, and encouraging things to say also regarding the world coming together, the industries
Yeah.
coming together, because that really, the insider's view, that really is what's happening.
So if someone has been impacted by this video, or they're interested in learning more, what is there a place they can go to help out or to get more information or contact you?
Of course, they can contact me directly. Do you want me to say my email?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
please. Yeah,
My email is h.brelsford, Brelsford, medgroupsolution.com. And they
perfect.
can
And that's
email me directly. I would love to get feedback from this video.
okay. Excellent, excellent. Well, there you have it, everyone. Please contact Heidi, and if nothing else, hopefully this video increased your awareness about the global supply chain and procurement of PPE, and just know that this is an ongoing battle, and thankfully we have people like Heidi on the front lines to deal with this. So thank you again.
That's so kind. It's taken a global team effort. I'm really happy to be here today. Thanks for this opportunity, Michael.
Thank you, Heidi. I appreciate it.